Hi guys, and welcome to another time on Yosi Kingdom, where we talk about important everyday stuff. And today I'm going to be shining light on the fact that virtually every Nigerian has been abused in one way or another. And this really saddened me to discover because it showed that our society is somewhat abusive and we don't even realize it. And some of us are already operating in these abusive situations. We're actually passing on the abuse as well. And so it's important for us to identify it so that we can change and the society can become better, because the onus is on you and I to make that change. So let's get started. All right, so everybody starts off somewhere, right? And that is in the family. We start with our family. And yes, abuse also happens in the family. Now, before you think I'm talking about only sexual abuse, that's not what I'm talking about alone. Yes, there's sexual abuse, but that is not the only sphere that abuse exists. Now, we look at when Nigerians begin to talk about how they grew up and how they were disciplined as children. We somewhat laugh about the fact that, people were beaten. Now, there were families that did the disciplining where they, beat children, but it wasn't, excessive, and there was that correction. But if we really look back at some of the beating that we experienced, we realize that it was quite abusive, because sometimes parents actually transfer aggression to their children. At a time when I was in a particular environment, and then this woman was with a baby. She put the baby on the floor and she was, sitting down, and the baby was trying to play with sand that was around that place, and she kept on beating the baby and saying, "Stop playing with sand, stop playing with sand." And I had to tell her that, "Ma'am, please, this baby does not know what he is doing. You are the one to take the baby away from sand so that the baby doesn't eat sand, because if you put the baby inside sand, baby will eat it." And she was like, "Hey, he know." I said, "He doesn't know. Baby that is not even up to 1 year old. Like, how does baby know?" So sometimes it goes beyond even what makes sense. We see that there's that culture of beating children, and it can get abusive sometimes. You see that sometimes it is a transfer of aggression. So maybe mom sees is already pissed about, office or something that is bothering her, and then you now do something that is wrong, and so the punishment now goes into beating, and like serious beating. Or you're beating a child because they did not pass in school. Like, how is that? Like, how do you beat a child because they did not pass in school when you're supposed to be directing the child on how they can excel and redirecting their steps and teaching them how to excel, and you're beating the child for failing in school? Like, some things were quite abusive, and that was why a lot of children were actually tense, because it was like, what's going on? Now we know that it was from a place of love as at them, because that was the understanding that they had, and so they were thinking that they were trying to discipline us so that we can be better in life. But now that we know that it is not the right method, we should not transfer that kind of discipline to our children. Yes, we can discipline our children, but not when it gets to abuse, when we start to beat them. There are other forms of disciplining children. I'm not saying that you cannot spank a children here and there, but because I'm not for that. Yes, if you're Weibo, that is your own. But I'm talking about when it crosses the normal, small spanking to carrying cane and beating the child, and beating the child seriously, and using belt to flog the child up and down. Then I think no, that is abusive. That is abusive. And it goes into so many things. Also, we see siblings abusing one another, where you see the junior ones cannot say anything in the house because brother Kiniko and sister Kiniko, if they say something, they'll say they are rude. So you see children being oppressed by their elder ones, and they cannot say anything. And so you wonder why bullying continues in the society. When your elder ones go to school and they start bullying their junior ones, and you're wondering what's going on. You said, well, it is seniority they are doing. It's not seniority, it's bullying. It's bullying. So you see those abuses happening in society, it starts from small, where you think that you are in a position of leadership or you have some sort of power, and so you exert it over people and begin to rule them. And so when you get into position of power in society, you actually operate that same way. Because it's not everybody that is the last born that is the one that is receiving it. And I noticed that people don't want to change when they're not the ones feeling the brunt of the pain. But when you're the one that is feeling that brunt of the pain, you will be agitating for change to happen, because you don't want to continue to feel that fire. So society doesn't want to change when they're comfortable with it, because it pleases me at this point. So I'm not going to want to agitate for change. But if you are at the receiving end of the pain, you would want to change. So that's culture of keeping people silent, not allowing them to have a voice. You see parents not allowing their children to be able to speak up. Because when they speak up, they'll say they are rude, they're disrespectful. That's not how society works. Meanwhile, the children are just keeping all the hurt inside, not being able to express it, feeling sad and feeling somehow. And then you wonder why your children lock their door, or your children don't talk to you. You wonder why they don't gel with their siblings. They don't have they don't gist their siblings about anything. They don't talk to anybody again in the house. They just mind their business. But when they are with their friends, they are something else. You don't even know them because they don't even have the opportunity to express themselves to you because you have shut them up. They have an opinion, you don't even respect it. So they don't give you the opinion anymore because when children begin to talk and begin to try to express themselves and you begin to shut them out, they stay out. They will stay away. And then years down the line, you're wondering why they don't talk to you. They won't talk to you because you never listen to them. And the same thing with siblings. You wonder why some siblings don't actually interact. They don't actually gist. Like they cannot sit down and have like a very casual conversation because that seniority has already been there since. So they're always very scared to say anything because Sister Kenika will be angry. Or I don't know what I'll say now before she will vex. Or I don't know what I'll say before he will vex. So let me just mind my business. They don't interact. And you wonder why maybe when you are old and gone, they don't have a relationship. They're always fighting. Why won't they fight? Why won't they fight? Because they never learned to cohabitate, never learned to respect each other. And I know that society doesn't do this out of wickedness. It is how we have been raised. It is how we were taught. And so we are doing this thing continuously because we think that is the way to do it. But when there's light that has been shed into that darkness, should we not change our direction and move to what is right? So yes, there should be respect. Yes, there should be discipline in the homes, but it should not cross into abuse, where we begin to shut the mouths of people and they cannot speak up anymore. And that's why they cannot speak up for themselves anywhere. They cannot tell you when they are being disturbed out there because you don't even give them space to talk. Abuse happens in different forms. It's not only sexual. It's not only verbal when you insult them with your words, because that also even happens as well. It's in the subtle ways. So it's about the subtle abuses that we don't even talk about. Now, when they leave the family, they leave the home, they go where? To school. And yet again in school, they are abused. Abused by who? Their mates and their teachers, especially their teachers. So you go to school. I remember in school then, you see teachers, they're always with cane. I remember I had one teacher like this. He was not in my class exactly, but he was a math teacher and he was known for 6 strokes. If you went to QC, you know him. 6 strokes, that was his name. Any small thing, 6 strokes. Whether the crime is small or the crime is big, 6 strokes. So he will come to your class and see you standing up. Because you are standing up, he doesn't know why you are standing up. For whatever reason, you are standing up. You are making a nuisance. Come here, 6 strokes, and give you 6 strokes of the cane for nothing. For nothing. So you see teachers feeling all high and mighty, feeling that they can beat anybody anytime they like because just transferring aggression from their house to the students. Any small thing is cane. You see children being beaten on their backs, on their bottom, on their hands, on their legs for tiny, tiny things. If they do wrong, there's a way to discipline children that is not about beating. I remember that then you will see that they will call students to come out on the assembly ground and they will beat them on the assembly ground because they did something that was wrong. Yes, they were wrong, but it's not deserving of flogging. And you now see that children become so rigid that you beat them and they will not even move. Like you give them 15 on their hand, they will not even budge. You tell them to put their back down. I remember that one, because they were hailing this senior. They beat her on her back. She just put her back like this. They beating her with a cane on her back. She did not blink. Just like that. When they were done, she was like, I'm like, if you want to beat me wrong, you must chase me because you must chase me because you must do some bolts there because I'm gonna run. You have to work for the beating that you want to beat me. You have to work for it. Because I don't like Ken. I don't like Ken. Don't come and kill me for my mother. Don't kill me. But you see that lecturers were beating students for nothing. They'll beat the entire class. And they feel so good. Because of what? Okay, you are making noise. Is there a teacher in the class that we're not making? If there's not teacher in the class, we can talk now. But you're making noise, everybody, I'm going to beat you in the class. There's that everybody in the class for nothing. So there was that abusive side of school. And of course, as I said again, those who are abused at home will come to school and also abuse fellow students, fellow classmates, fellow juniors and seniors. They were abusing each other. Sending people a message. So people will be agitated to come to school. They'll be so afraid to come to school because they know what they're going to face. Especially if you are going to the boarding house. You'll be so scared. Those who you put as your children's school father, they're the ones that are abusing your children. I cannot understand the concept of boarding house. I cannot do it. Like I can't understand it. I just can't. I feel I'd rather take you to a school that is close to my house than take you to another school that you're going to the boarding house. That what? I want to be seeing you in my eyes like this. Because these are the years that you're supposed to imbibe amazing things into your children. I can't put my children in boarding house. I just can't. I'm not saying that if it works for you, I don't know. But for me, I can't. Because there's a lot that goes on there. When I hear the things that went on there, I knew some of the things that went on there. And I know that, no. I don't want my kids there. Because I'm not there to see. And to see when they are hearing nonsense. And to see when they are being taught nonsense. No. I don't want it. I want to be seeing them. So when they are being disturbed, I'm able to step in quickly and reverse and save the situation. And that's why the home needs to be always conducive so that children are able to speak up quickly about anything that they face. So it must not be abusive. So that is school. And of course, they move to university and then the lecturers too, all high and mighty. If you went to a school in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about, where the lecturers will come and tell you, you see, all of you in this place, just know that you cannot get a first class because nobody gets a first class in Moscow. Nobody. And you will not be the first. If you are very good, you will get a 2-1. If you are, trying, you will get a 2-2. But the rest of you just carry your third class and pass because you are not going to get a first class in this course because you cannot. And truth be told, nobody gets a first class. Not because they are not smart enough, but because the lecturers chose not to give them a first class. That's it. And you see, the lecturers would willfully fail students just because they feel like it. They choose to fail students just because they say, you cannot pass my subject. You cannot, they pride in the fact that people cannot pass their courses. That is the pride that they have. That is the joy that they have that, my course is very hard. People cannot easily pass it because it's hard. And it's not because it is hard. It's because the lecturer chose not to pass the students. So they will make it difficult for students to pass, students that are intelligent. We see a handful of those that are entering into the system now and stopping that nonsense from going on. Just a handful. We need more. So that abuse goes on. And the school authorities turn a blind eye because they know that these things happen. We saw the whole sex for grade thing that everybody was shouting about as if we did not know that it existed. It has been existing since. It's still existing. Lecturers fail students because they refuse to sleep with them. Lecturers fail students because they just feel like it. Not because maybe you did not greet them well or because maybe you came to school and you wore a clothes that they don't agree with in their own religion. And so you just feel like, I will show you you're a bad girl. I must show you that you cannot pass my course. Or you just say something that they don't like and you just feel like, I will show you. Abuse. And you cannot even fight for yourself. You cannot, because you don't even know where to begin. That is abuse that goes on in Nigeria. You see people graduating with scores that they should not graduate with because the system has failed them. You stay in school for, let's not even get there, how you stay in school for extra years for ASU strike that is not your concern, and so they oppress you in that. That's another form of abuse, but let us not even dwell on that today. And then now that you leave school, you go to work, and then at work again, you are abused. There is that boss that feels entitled to call you any name that he likes because I'm the boss. I'm going to pay your salary. So you ask a boss, sir, do you think I should? Don't ask me stupid question. Abusive talk. I remember a case when that day I was boiling for the person. Like I was boiling for the person because I was like, what did we carry on? What are you throwing? So yes, the guy was wrong. I won't lie, he was wrong. And then this man was boiling, and then he now said, because this guy that was wrong, he just got married, and he said, and somebody will call your husband. Hey, you are abusing me, abuse his wife right now. Like that what you just did. I was boiling that day because this guy was actually wrong. Let me not lie, he was wrong. And this boss saw him and looked at this guy like a proper guy. The man just got married, and he said, like, how do you even think like this? Like, and somebody will look at you and call you a husband. And I'm like, how do you say that to somebody? How? I was vibrating in my spirit. I was like, what's going on here? Because it was just ridiculous. I've seen situations where bosses would toss their whatever they are holding and toss it on people in the office because they're angry, calling people names, talking to them anyhow, forcing people to do the work that they were not paid for. So you hire somebody as whatever, and then you make the person do admin. How? If you hire somebody as social media manager, the next thing you're sending the person to go and look for painter that will paint the office. How is that my job? And then if the person doesn't want to do it, of course, you will start giving the person grief, or you sack the person. You say, buy me water, buy me beans, buy me this. Now what happened? Is that my JD? So I remember a time in the office when I normally get water because I drink water a lot. So I normally go buy water. And in the process of doing that, I help other people get water. And so that particular day, because I was a junior there in the office, I was just, I was new. I was, I don't want to say what I was doing there, so everyone would not know the office. So I was sure like young then, new into work and all of that. And then this brother, hey, he now said that, actually, could you help me get water? And I'm like, oh, I'm not going right now. Like normal casual stuff, because I didn't see it as a big deal. Like, help your neighbor now. What's so dear? I'm going to go and buy water. I'll buy for you. It was like, I said you should go and buy water for me. I said, hey, me. It's like you have misruled. I said, see, he did write on my head that I'm messenger. Like, look at, maybe you should read again. You see on my head, as I was ready to leave my that office that day because I was ready. As I see, I choose to help you when I choose to. If I don't want to help you, I'm not helping, and I'm not helping you henceforth because you don't know what the meaning of help is. Don't be frustrated. Because you have to refuse to be abused. And the thing is that if you have that kind of mouth, probably they will sack you. And that is why it's important for you to be very good at what you do, so that it's not easy for them to just push you away because you are fighting against that kind of abusive situation. You have to be ready. In the offices, they abuse you. Minus the fact that there's that superior that's always taking the glory for your work. There is that sexual abuse that also exists that is very bad. I remember working in a particular organization. I can never forget. I had to always sign something. So I had to always go there to bring the document to sign. And this accountant, I will go there every time to give him something to sign. He wants to grab a hold of me. He wants to touch me. I won't name the office so I will not know the person. He wants to grab me. He wants to touch me. I'll be like, leave me now, leave me now. I was always scared to go to his office to get him to sign the document. And I had to go there multiple times in a day. I had no choice. And this guy was very friendly out there. So if I should talk, they'll say, you don't just understand a joke. You're just too serious. They will not believe because this guy was everybody's friend. But in the corridor, in the behind, he was always trying to grab a hold. He would say, come and pick this from my desk so that you can come and he will touch your waist or something. Like, it was very, very abusive. And so I was always scared to go to his office. So I would wait for somebody to enter his office before I would go and bring form. He would do all his mouth. He would do all his sexual language. He would do everything. I would just be ignoring him. Like, it happened for a whole year. I had to leave that place. Like I was like, no, 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 I can't deal. I can't deal. Like the sexual abuse that happens is crazy, crazy, crazy. Like you see it at every turn. Somebody was just wants to take advantage of you just because. So there's that's going on, abuse. And then we move into the society, and every single person wants to abuse you for one reason or another. The police wants to abuse you because they want to exert their authority over you for what is not even their authority in the first place. And so they want to show you that they have power. And so they just call you and stop your car for nothing. Just because they feel like it. They can say you're not going anywhere that day, that they want to search your car. They will shall pick something to disturb you for. You must give them money, if not, they're going to give your life hell. Like in the hospital, the same thing, you are abused. You see nurses that are there, they will feel like they are gods because they are now nurses. They will not allow you to rest, talk to you anyhow, treat your sick patient anyhow, but you have to be at their mercy because, hey, if I talk too much, they might just give that girl one injection that does not make any sense. So let me just humble myself. And then the Bamanla of the government, I would take the people's money and use it for their personal gain, and then still showcase it and put it in our faces. That because they suspended your account on Twitter, all of us must suffer with you in the whole country. Like, how is that not abuse? How is that not abuse? Like they said you should not do it again because what you tweeted was not good. Now all of us in the country must now be suspended with you. How now? How? You put your family members in the places of authority and keep giving them positions, and the people are suffering, and you're oppressing the people. You are putting your people in the position of leadership. You are riding your range. You are going on social media to sing one stupid song. You're just going up and up to pepper the people that you're stealing from. Those who are caught, nothing happens to them. Where's the Nigerian today? Where's Auntie? Everyone that is caught in something or the other, they just keep short about them, and we don't hear anything about them again. So there's oppression happening in every space. So I said that, as I say, virtually every Nigerian has been abused in one way or another. I intentionally went through this process because I want you to see that it is not just the government. The government is one aspect. The remaining aspects are us. We're the ones that are doing it. We're the ones that are making the society bad. Because when we do this abuse, every single sphere, from the home to the school, to the society, to the work, to everything, we create a toxic environment. And so everybody is already angry. Like the average Nigerian is always vexed. And before you say, excuse me, they're already saying, they're already angry. Yes, because they're just they're already pissed for nothing. Like, because everything agitates, everything has abused them. So they're just pissed at all turns. So let us start in the space that we can. If you are in whatever field, if you are a boss, you are a superior in the office, whether you are a team leader or not, whatever place that you are, the change starts with you. You really have to begin to change things by you doing your part, because you don't know the lives that you are impacting by your behavior. People will pass through you. You might just lead a team for a particular project, and people will remember that you led that team because of the way you led. And so they emulate that and want to be like you. But when they abuse, they want to also abuse you. That you know that system of they punish me in school, I must punish my own. That is the mind of the average Nigerian. They did it to me, I must do my own back. No. You have to stop it so that it doesn't continue, because your children will receive it. The person that you abuse will abuse somebody else's child, and it will get to be a circle that will get back to your own children. So you have to stop it. So when you're raising your children in love, read parenting books, learn different methods of disciplining children without beating. Now that we know better, we shouldn't continue in that way. And in our schools, teachers are listening to this. Teachers, shape the lives of your students. Those teachers that love their students, even those not naughty students, they align with them because they feel like this one is a good teacher. This one actually cares about us. So they don't stress that one out. When your one is agidi all the time, you want to waste the beat, they will give you hell. Because students will give you back what you give them. They will give you hell. Yeah, and at work, yes, you were abused when you were a subordinate. Now you are not the boss. You now want us, all of us should not rest. You have to stop that. Because if you want the best for your own company, you have to learn to treat your staff well. Because when you treat them, and they will take your matter on their head. Anyway, I hope this video has been insightful and you have been able to learn a thing or two, because this is Yosi Kingdom, where we ensure that we make your outstanding self to ignite. So please ensure that you subscribe to this channel and that you click the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video. And of course, like this video and share with your friends and family so that they can join the Yosi Kingdom. And we'd love to see you on our social media platforms so that we can hang out there as well. Thank you and have a great week. Bye.